Altcoin time. This crypto is heading for new highs. It's just a matter of when. Let's check out the chart. Hello, Ethereum. She's looking really good here, consolidating in this upwards moving channel wedge, whatever you like to call it. When you see this happen, if it doesn't start losing these shorter term moving averages and the bearish divergences don't play out, meaning that the momentum's dropping away while price action is going higher, this is actually a really bullish sign that any dips are being bought and the buying strength's really strong. In fact, it's consolidating as it moves higher. Incredibly bullish, and it is very indicative of what Bitcoin did after its ETF as well. So Ethereum looks primed here as long as it can flip this upwards trending trend line and also the level of $4,000. 4,000 is a line in the sand for Ethereum. If it can get above it, ETH is going straight to all-time highs. Forget about it. Do not pass go. It's going there. Maybe not straight away, but the direction is very, very clear. This is a multi-year level at 4,000 that when we flip it, the buyers are going to step on the gas. So hopefully we flip it and we consolidate a bit, giving us that room to head to those highs. But just watch that level. That is the key level. On the downside, I'd be very wary of 3,700. If we lose that in the 10 EMA, that blue line there, if that's the case, I think this blue box that I've got there at 3,400 down to 3,300 is very much in play because this is such a heavy level of suppression and seller support that I think if we blitz through that, fantastic. But if we can't hold, this is such an obvious level where this heaviness will turn over and we'll get into those lower levels. So I'm looking higher for ETH, but it's very much contingent on that. So I always love a low risk option when I do these chart analysis. So really like ETH here. Let's hope she gets higher. Everyone's favorite Penguin might be about to have a cool off. It looks really heavy, if I'm honest, and at a very clear point where it should get heavy, and that's at prior all-time high. So you can see Pengu has had an incredible run, but the uptrend is beginning to see a bit of violation here. So right here, this daily candle, if we just zoom right in, is now beginning to flow a little bit lower. So 35, 0.35, it's really not that far, but I think in the short term, this is a danger zone chart where things can roll over, but longer term, this is bullish as hell. And in terms of structure and pattern, generally you see this big cup and handle, and then you see that pullback underneath that all-time high. We really rarely get that just flush straight up and it keeps moving. Everyone wants that and they FOMO in, but here's where we tend to see some stickiness and a bit of a pullback, create that handle on the larger cup, and then we see that movement higher. So that's my bias here. I think we're gonna climb down a little bit to this volume block here and form out some kind of right shoulder before we scream higher. That said, we could have had a little bit of pullback here if Bitcoin stabilizes and move higher, and Pengu could just follow that, of course. But even see here on the momentum, it's a real roll away. So I think we can head down to that 50 on the RSI in line with what's happening here. And look, as long as the structure holds at that point there at 35, you can see that price action there and the volume, that's a very logical area, that 0.3, 0.32 area. So that's my danger zone for today. Fan favorite XRP. The chart looks really, really good on a larger time frame. And if you're patient, you can spot these patterns and lean into them. And you don't have to be a short-term trader. Longer term investors can look at this too. It's just very simple charting, horizontal resistance and support flips. So if you have a look over here, XRP had this massive movement up, and since then we have just been chopping sideways, consolidating, made that new all-time high up here, but since dropped beneath this level back into this chop. What have we done recently? We've climbed back above that level, and we're now trying to confirm this area as support. Now I have a box there I used this in my newsletter last week, so if you weren't aware, you can check out the newsletter and have a look at what I was talking about there. We've come back into this region now, which is great. So this is where you want to be looking to buy before an impulse up. Now that said, we don't want XRP to really lose $3. If we lose $3, then we're coming back down much deeper to the 200, this kind of volume area. But this is where you want it to hold, and if it holds at the all-time high support, then she's going much, much higher. Now, I'm not sure about these price targets here, but this is along the Fibonacci extension. So I think $4, $4.50, maybe some of these levels. But again, we have to think in terms of market cap here. It can look like a fantastic trade, but fundamentally, it would, for XRP to get in these regions, it's going to be adding, a tremendous amount of capital to its market cap. So that would be almost a double if it starts. No, it would be a double if it starts getting in those regions, which is, a couple of $100 billion, if I'm not mistaken, or over 100 billion. So just have to keep that in mind. RSI is actually looking okay. Generally, we like to pull back to the 50, but like other charts on Ethereum, if we're just chopping sideways and building and the RSI is resetting, we have a lot of scope to run back to the highs. And if you have a look over here, XRP, topped out here in December 24 when the RSI was about 93. So we have a lot of room to move back to those levels, but really like XRP here. If you see the same, let me know. Thanks guys, bye.